Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Day 9, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the After Hours Gaming League Season 4 Grand Finals! The crowd is hyped today because these teams have been playing for 16 weeks, battling against one another on the virtual battlefield, and today we will crown 2 champions, one in StarCraft 2 and one in League of Legends. But of course, the important question is, what is the AHGL for any of you new folk tuning in? The After Hours Gaming League is the league that takes fun very seriously. You might watch LCS, WCS, MLG, and other acronyms as well, and in those tournaments, you see the tippest-toppest professionals who devote their lives to a game, mastering it and fighting for your entertainment. But what about the average bear, who toils away at work all day and comes home and just wants to play games and try hard? That's what the After Hours Gaming League is for. Every single player in the AHGL is a member of a major corporation joining together in camaraderie to cheese other people. And these 4 teams will be battling today. In the League of Legends Grand Finals, we have Team Amazon versus Team Microsoft. You don't need to cheer apprehensively. And in the second final for StarCraft 2, Microsoft as well against National Instruments. Will Microsoft be able to win 2 titles today? Well, apparently the answer is yes, according to an employee of Microsoft who's sitting right there. Now, despite the fact that things are fairly straightforward, we've provided for you a beautiful graphic to indicate what will be going down today. We're going to be starting off with the League of Legends Finals. Following this, we have the traditional fun match as buffer time for everyone to ease up and remind themselves that we do play games for fun. And following that, we have the Grand Finals of StarCraft 2. And if you're here, we're probably going to go bowling afterwards as well. Solid. So without any further ado, let's throw it away to our League of Legends casters. Brian and Chris, take it away.
Thanks, Sean. Super happy to be here.
Yeah.
My name is Brian Farrell Pony Feeney.
I'm Chris Cades Cantrell.
Yeah, we are so excited to be here.
Yeah.
I've been coming to the After Hours Gaming League for, this is my 3rd time here. This last 2 times I was an audience member. It is super exciting to be here, sort of behind the desk, to talk about League of Legends. Man, are you pumped for this? This is exciting.
I am completely excited about both of these teams.
Yeah.
I've got the chance to watch them scrim, and I think we have a doozy of a game set up. I mean, this should be a very fun grand finals to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of these teams have, so a lot of these players have actually been here before as well.
Right.
We've but 2 members of both teams are sort of back again. This is Amazon's 3rd time sort of here in League of Legends. This is Microsoft's 1st, I believe, in League of Legends.
First in League, right.
They were very dominant players in StarCraft 2
right.
for the After Hours Gaming League, but it's exciting to see how they're going to perform in the league scene.
Yeah, I think we should have a very, very fun match. And we have a poll up on AHGLTV.TV, and we asked players, or we asked you guys, who do we think is going to win, Amazon or Microsoft at 2-0 or 2-1?
And the pre-poll said it was a little bit in favor of Microsoft, but because we don't know, they asked about before this, so we don't care what they think anymore, right? We care what you guys think. So who's going to take it away? Is it going to be Amazon Prime, or is it going to be Microsoft 1? And how do you think it's going to go? Is it going to be 2-0 for Amazon? Is it going to be 2-1? Are we going to see a game 3? I have no idea. It's too close to tell.
I always hope for game 3s. I mean, it shows that you have a really close competition. I'm excited to see. I think regardless, we're going to have a fun time today.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't really know what to expect here. I know a lot of these teams have both been practicing extremely heard they've been sort of scouting each other out. I know there's been some sort of subterfuge as well. A lot of teams sort of hiding out like what they're going to play, whether or not. I know there's.
I've heard tell of some unconventional supports might crop up.
Yeah, that's actually one of the most interesting things when it was from researching these teams is that both support players play very unconventional picks.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, although I was talking to Simon J he was saying yeah, I'll put plays a lot of unconventional supports. It's like, but I made Nami. I'm like, that's not unconventional.
No, that's not unconventional.
Ridiculous.
So if we only see Nami, then we'll see how it plays out. I think we should have a very fun match.
Yeah, I do want to give a quick shout out to Red Bull as well, who,
Yeah.
we're in their headquarters right now. I remember stumbling in here really early in the morning being like, they're like, do you guys want something to drink? I'm like, I would love a Red Bull. Do you have any of those? And they're like, are you kidding me?
And we have plenty.
There's so much Red Bull, it's amazing.
I think we're gonna have a fun time. We also have a couple pictures. There was here we go. The After Hours Gaming League has the Curse of the Sad Mummy. that's not a bad team picture. And here we go with look at these guys.
This is from lolking.net. Hide your poros is an amazing tagline.
Yep.
This is
Security
Team
Metrics.
Security Metrics, another team that was in there. They did not make it to the finals,
No.
but bunch of good guys.
Yeah.
Before they're a fun group. And the nerdery.
Yes.
I don't. This picture cracks me up.
They're all different versions of Heimerdinger.
Yeah, raise your dongers, as they say.
All right. So I think we have we should have day 9 out ready to talk to some captains of either team. We'll be able to bring that to you shortly.
Okay, so yeah, we'll let day 9 take it away and introduce you to the captains of the League of Legends teams you're about to see.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome back. I have the captain of the 3-time finalist team, John from Team Amazon. Welcome, John. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. We've been practicing a lot over the last 6 months. I think we started with a bunch of gold and plat players, and now we're all diamond, and we've been practicing a lot. It's going good.
Yeah, and I mean, you have now made it to 3 finals in a row. Is there anything special that you did to prepare for this final match?
So last year we came in second. We lost 2-1 to Google, and they cheesed us with Heimerdinger mid, so we've been practicing that cheese specifically for the last month straight.
So you didn't say, how do I stop that? You just went, oh, I'm going to do that. I mean, are there other strategies like this that you have sort of hidden away for the finals?
There's only allowed 1 Heimerdinger per game, so as long as we pick it, we're good. Yeah.
Now, P.S., don't ban Heimerdinger. All right, I understand that would be a core part to your upcoming strategy. Now, given the fact that in the AHGL, each team is playing for a charity, why don't you tell us a little bit about the charity that you will be playing for today for a chance to donate $5,000 of Riot's money to them?
Yeah, we're playing for Charity Water. They give clean water to developing nations. Yeah, you can check them out at charitywater.org.
Fantastic, yes, and of course over at AHGL.tv you can check out all the charities for which these teams played. Give them a donation and let them know it was the AHGL that sent you. So without any further ado, John from Amazon, best of luck to you. I look forward to seeing your Heimerdinger cheese in action. So let us now bring on the captain of Team Microsoft. Ali, welcome. Hi. It's good to see you. Now, what we talked about beforehand is that to frame properly, we're going to touch toes. Yeah. There we go. So even though we're having this conversation here, I want you to know that our feet are on each other's feet down here. That's production quality. Now, Ali, tell me, this is Microsoft's first time in the League of Legends finals. Yep. You've had 2 finals in StarCraft 2. How are you feeling heading into this match?
Feeling pretty good. We've been practicing for a while, and last year we lost out to Google, who cheesed us as well and banned us out. So this time around, we're starting out on the blue side first, and thanks to John for letting us know that they were planning on picking Heimerdinger, because that's what we'll do. So we have also practiced that a bit, and we actually had another team try that against us this year, and it didn't work for them. So hopefully we win the first game because we have Heimerdinger.
Now, I'm really interested to see this, the last ban. When Heimerdinger hasn't been banned yet. It's like, I don't know, should we ban him or not? Now, is that going to be part of your strategy? Are you going to actually try to toss out that which you've been practicing in this final match?
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to do because Amazon actually gets the last ban. So, I mean, they can potentially take Heimerdinger out for both of us, which I'm sure will be devastating because I don't know what we'll do.
That would be very difficult for the emotions of the fans, for certain. Now, is there anything special that your team did to prepare for this final match today?
So we've been practicing ever since the last season ended, and we've played, I think, several hundred ranked games, and we've gotten beaten by a bunch of good players in ranked fives. So we lost out to Complexity and all these other teams. So I think that'll help us.
I love that attitude. Always want to learn from the tip-top pros. But here, we try hard. Now, I have to ask you the important final question. Who is the charity that you are playing for today?
Well, we are supporting this charity called Charity Water. I don't know if you've heard about them before, but they were founded in, I think, about 8 years ago in 2006, and they've been working on getting water to countries all across the world, and I think they've done that for over 50 countries or so. So it's a worthy cause, and you can find them at charitywater.org.
Wonderful. Well, of course, given that Charity Water is the real champion today, guaranteed to win $5,000 in donation from AHGL Season 4, courtesy of Riot Games, we're still going to have a grand final match, though. Without any further ado, Ali, it's a pleasure. Gentlemen, to your pro gamer booths. They're heading back to the brand new Red Bull gaming studio here at Red Bull Santa Monica. So let's also say hello once again to the casters for this grand final match, Brian and Chris. Cheers.
Well, thanks a lot, Denai.
Yeah, thank you so much. As the players are sort of going to settle back in, get their last little kinks worked out before the game gets going, we're going to actually take a look at the bracket and sort of see what got these teams to where they are now.
Yeah, well, we know that we're at the finals. Microsoft went up against Raytheon and was able to beat Google to make it here. That's
Yeah, and as we just learned, Google was sort of the team to beat here, kind of cheesing people out in the last season. But it's good to see Microsoft taking out this time on, and Amazon also, taking out Kabam Orange, taking out Bungie, another high-powered studio. There's so many teams here. I mean, we saw 16 teams here. We're down to the last 2. This is the best of the best. This is going to be exciting.
What's really interesting about it is both Microsoft and Amazon were right ahead of the pack, 1 and 2. And so, not a big surprise, but the fact that it's not a big surprise is kind of the shocker there, that both the people who were going in at the beginning were able to make it all the way to the end.
I mean, I guess the seeding there is pretty good then, right? I mean, usually have like the number 1, number 2 seeds, supposed to be the best teams. It's not super shocking to see them sort of at the finals here, but at the same time, like usually when you see brackets like this in esports and non-esports, I don't know what non-esport is. I guess a sport? Is that what they call them nowadays?
Yeah, I guess so.
Something like that. That often, you don't see the team number 1 and 2. Right. You'll see some upsets. You'll see some like stuff. But these guys have been so dominant and so in control. I think it was like Microsoft hasn't given up a single game from what I've heard.
They haven't. They haven't lost a single game since preseason. They lost in preseason, but that's it.
Wow.
So their entire season has been perfect up till now.
And we'll have to see if they can keep that. I wonder if we should have almost given people that information before we did the poll, saying, hey, is Microsoft going to be undefeated here or not? But it's a little fun to make the guesses without having all the intel.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we're going to be able to take a look at the players soon.
Yeah, let's actually we're going to bring up Team Amazon, and we'll sort of run through those guys and introduce the players.
All right, outstanding. Well, first we have Nate Mack. He is their top player, and what's exciting to me is that everyone at both these teams, I mean, they're not professional gamers, they are professionals who game. It's kind of putting a different spin on it.
Yeah, although Nate is a pretty hardcore gamer in general, right? Like he plays a ton of other games.
Right.
Does enjoy League of Legends a lot. He is the top lane pick as well, so we'll have to see kind of where it comes from. It's kind of funny. It's like I'm an engineer, and I love that I get paid to write code. I'm like, you are in the right profession, my friend.
That's
absolutely what I do. So we got Mike, also from Team Amazon Prime. He is the jungle, or as they say, Jungle Reno. That's a new take on the positions to me. But he's a big MOBA player. He was in the Dota scene before this.
Yes.
He's actually pretty new to League of Legends. He was a really big Dota player before this. Sort of jumped into League and then kind of almost like skyrocketed sort of up to Diamond.
Yeah.
Dude's a really fast learner. Really exciting to see what he'll bring to the table.
And then we have Daniel Troy.
I think it's Troy.
Yeah.
All right. So, He's the champion. He's Zed. I'm assuming that means mid, but we'll see where that goes from there.
He should be their mid player.
Yeah. So he works on Amazon Music. He likes guitar. Sort of a more creative guy. We'll say more. So a lot of guys are sort of I don't know what the very is it
Engineers.
right brain engineers focused
very
like
left
very
brain.
you know
Very
left brain.
analytical.
That's the one.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Get those mixed up sometimes.
Right brain is creativity, and
He's been
Daniel
playing
is-
for a long time too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
a nice mix of fresh blood and old blood on the team.
Oh.
Yeah.
And here we have the captain. We just saw him just a second ago, Bowley, and John Huang has been the captain of this team for a while.
Yeah, I mean, he used to play jungle.
Yeah.
He's always wanted to play AD carry, and now that he's captain, he gets to play AD carry. So that's kind of how that works, right? Like, well, I'm going AD carry because I want to.
Well, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. He's the captain. He gets to make the calls. He gets paid the big bucks.
Yeah.
So, and I know they've been, And here we go. We have Huagao. He's he's the support player.
Right.
Likes blitzcrank, but he also was one of those guys that plays unconventional supports.
He does.
Not a primary support player before this. He's been practicing a lot of support. I've heard some dark whispers of some support champions. I got to keep my voice down a little bit. So
we don't want to affect the bands.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in Champion Select.
All right.
So yeah, and then I think we're gonna let's take a moment also to introduce Team Microsoft as well.
Yep.
If we have those plates, as I learned, the little graphics are called plates. I feel very professional now and excited.
Yeah.
So there we go. Now, so you met him. He's the team captain. He was sort of just interviewed by Day 9 just a moment ago. Likes TV shows, and who doesn't? Listen to all games and playing a little too much League. I've been there.
Yeah,
I kind of know how that goes. So he's a program manager. And here we have Joseph Cheng, who's, I believe he is the top lane player, if I recall correctly.
Now, I'm a huge board game fan, and
Yes, you are.
yes, no, I definitely am. And Joseph and I were talking about that pregame, so that should be
Did you have a particular favorite type of board game or something like that?
We did. Do I or did he?
Did he?
No, he
No?
didn't say.
Okay.
I'm sure he
Alright,
does.
fair enough, moving
I
on.
didn't do enough research on that.
All right, we got Joe Metzger, who's he's playing mid. Favorite champion is Anivia. He's software engineer and test for OneDrive. And so he's apparently well known for his Yasuo play. Basically, their team strategy when I talked to him earlier was basically like, we're gonna just basically duct tape his R key down, and then whenever a knockup happens, he's just gonna fly in there and murder everybody.
And have fun. But his Anivia is also pretty beastly. That was banned out last year. So I mean, it's cause for concern if they let that slip through. All right.
And we've got Tony, who's playing, I believe it's AD carry. So he's been actually undefeated in Digipen's low-land tournaments. So we've got a number of undefeated players and teams here. So one of those people is going to lose their title. So
Right.
We'll just see. But he also plays a lot of ADC mid. It's something we haven't really seen a lot of since probably season 2, early season 3. We saw some like Varus mid, some like interesting stuff like that.
I mean, it used to be the standard back in season 1 when we first gave it a go. But
many moons ago.
Yes, many moons ago, and he's kicking it old school.
All right, and here we have Sanjeev or Silent J, or as I've been told, it is a Silent J, so silent.
So is it Sanjeev?
Yeah.
Oh, you just call him Silent?
I just call him Silent. Yeah, it's a Silent J.
Yeah.
So he plays Vel'Koz. He's a support player as well. Sort of favorite champion. He plays a lot of unconventional sports from what I've heard. So I mean, just say favorite champion is Vel'Koz. I've seen a lot of Vel'Koz support play recently.
Vel'Koz support is devastating. It's
Could be
so much
devastating.
damage that you're not expecting.
Yeah. So I'm actually curious if we're going to see that. That play out or not.
All right.
It'd be interesting. So there you have it. Those are the teams.
Yeah.
They're just sort of finalizing their stuff. We can sort of hear some shuffling around in the back, and we're gonna see. As soon as we're good to go, we're gonna jump in there. I've seen some Rito please. So
I think we're gonna have an amazing matchup. We're gonna cut over very soon over and watch the picks and the bans. I think we're gonna have a pretty exciting game. Do you have an inkling? Do you have a guess on which way it's gonna lean?
I think the team that's gonna donate all their money to charity water is gonna be the winner. But a little bit of speculation. So let's jump in here right into Champion Select.
All right.
So here we are in Champion Select. We are seeing a Renekton ban, a Lucian ban, Yasuo and Jax. It's also worth noting that Braum, who was recently released, is also banned because this is on the tournament realm, the same realm the LCS players play on. So he's
Rengar as well?
Not sure, but we'll be able to check out that in a sec. But we're seeing the final 2 bans here. We're seeing a Nocturne ban as well. A lot of focus on the AD carries by Team Microsoft, which is kind of interesting. Or not AD carries, sort of the heavy AD characters, high damage.
And Amazon is really trying to take away the top lane.
Yeah, that's an interesting play. We're starting to see kind of how that pans out. It's interesting to note, like, when you see so many targeted bans like that, where you see kind of, Microsoft banning out top laners, it's either because the Microsoft top laner either has a very limited champion pool,
right,
and you can basically crush that player by taking out their 2 or 3 champions they know how to play,
right,
or that player is so scary and dominant on the team that you just don't want him to have the best champions he has available.
Yeah.
So I was thinking Nami ban as well. I'm pretty sure that was targeted at Silent J. So before he said played X
ton of
hundred,
Nami,
yeah, tons of Nami play, and first lock here on Kassadin. That is interesting. He's a character that sort of has been fluctuating between must pick, must ban, viewed as sort of pretty crappy. Now he's back to sort of must pick, must ban. Got a little bit of a nerf last patch, but still extremely strong pick, extremely strong champion after the rework. He's
just such a highly mobile champion. Anytime you have a highly mobile assassin, it's hard to keep them out of the game for too long. Yeah, and on the other side of that, we have Kha'Zix and Nidalee, which is also both are 2 very popular picks. Nidalee is just beastly the longer the game goes on, and the AP almost one-shot players at the end of.
Yeah.
It's a painful experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Those spears are just devastating. And the Kha'Zix as well. Kha'Zix is one of those champions that is sort of almost like a must-pick sort of in competitive play right now. He's just so dominant in the jungle. A lot of players are running him. He's extremely strong, extremely versatile, and he starts off strong and gets stronger as the game moves on as well.
So on the other side, we have Broseph picking Thresh instead of Morgana. It looked like he was hovering over Morgana for a bit, and then he went to Thresh. What do you think about that?
I think that is a not unconventional support. So I'm a little disappointed to see, assuming Thresh is in the support lane.
And then we have Lulu, and Lulu could be support or mid.
Well, we'll have to see if they lock in, right? Like, sometimes a lot of the players in these matches like to kind of troll the casters and troll the audience,
which is what they're doing.
Yeah, so they might be playing around with us right now. But we do have Twitch and Thresh, and it is very common to sort of, when you have 2 picks at the same time, to basically pick in your bot lane at the same go. Right. Because especially if you have really good synergy, or like the support and AD carry just champions mesh really well, you don't want to pick one and then have the other one taken away from you. Yeah. So you want to take both at the same time, and both Twitch and Thresh, extremely popular, extremely strong picks. So not super surprising there.
Now it appears that we might be looking to lock in Mundo with Jinx. They have locked in Dr. Mundo. That's a bit of a surprise for me. That's fairly unconventional. Have you seen?
He fell a little bit out of favor with a couple of the changes in early season 4, where he was extremely popular. Sort of him and Shyvana were sort of the top lane terrors. But then a couple of changes happened to the defensive masteries and that kind of stuff, and he kind of fell out of favor. But it's cool to see him back. We are seeing the Lulu back. For Team Amazon Prime. Again, I'm kind of disappointed by these support picks. Just I was expecting something a little more fun, a little more quirky. But we're seeing, let's see. So we have Vi and Shyvana were the last 2 pickups.
Right.
For Microsoft. Assuming it's going to be, Shyvana top lane, another pretty common pick, pretty staple, and Vi jungle, who is a little surprising. She fell a little bit out, but still very strong pick. Her ability to sort of grab a champion wherever they are, right? It's like, is Vi on screen? You're probably dead. Is usually how that
she can lock
out.
You down. That's what as we watch this first game. That's what I want to watch you. That's what I want to look for on the Microsoft game. They're going to look for times to pick people out of position, catch them with Vi or with the mobility from Kassadin or being able to hook from Thresh or Twitch popping out. They're all about about catching people unawares in bad positioning. Now on the flip side, if you look over on the Amazon team, they have look for them to initiate with either Kha'Zix or Mundo, and then poke down beforehand with Nidalee spears, and then as soon as Kha'Zix jumps in, have Lulu ult them, and then they'll all just be stuck right there in the mayhem.
Yeah. Yeah, you said like you mentioned the poke on that team.
Yeah.
And the poke on Team Amazon Prime is amazing.
Yeah, between Jinx and Nidalee, I mean, it's
Well, even
and
characters
Lulu.
that aren't normally deemed as like sort of fitting in a poke complex, sort of the top lane pick. Every one of these champions can do that.
Yeah.
Mundo can throw cleavers. Kha'Zix can shoot void spikes.
Yeah.
And all these have like 900, 1,000 range. It's really long. Lulu's strong poke. Nidalee, the queen of poke, right? And then even Jinx is one of the most amazing poke characters from an AD carry perspective as well. Like
very
even
true.
competing with something like a character like Ezreal, who's normally known for their poke strength.
Right.
So this is going to be sort of hard engage pick versus poke. Really interested to see how this will pan out.
Yeah, I think, and we do have a delay, so they're going to get started right behind us. But as we're watching, like one of the things I think will be instrumental if Amazon is going to pull off a victory in this is their team fight coordination.
Oh,
If they can group up, if they can find a way to kind of move and not get picked off, and keep a strong positioning, I think they have a very real chance to beat the first team that's able to beat Microsoft this year.
Yeah.
So let's.
I mean, but they are going to have to coordinate this so well.
Yeah.
Poke teams in general need really strong coordination, but you throw that on a team that has such good pick. You've got Cassin, you've got Twitch, who's going to be invisible when he tries to pick somebody off. Thresh can just grab somebody as long as they're in range. Vi can isolate. Shyvana can't really contribute super heavily to that, but she's just going to basically go into dragon form and just run around the team and cause all sorts of panic and chaos.
Yeah, I would expect that Shyvana would be very, very tanky. I mean, they actually have a fairly tanky team with Vi and Shyvana.
Oh yeah.
If they're able to burn down Dr. Mundo with an ignite or with some type of grievous wounds debuff, and they are able to focus Mundo down, which at high level, I mean, like that's how people see counter picks.
Yeah.
I mean, look for them to burn him down quickly if they have it up, and if they don't, then they'll just go after anyone that they can.
Well, and let's not forget either that the character you mentioned that Shyvana's super tanky, Vi's pretty tanky as well. Not inherently, but she builds really durable. Kassadin also, after the remake, builds a lot more tank items than sort of the traditional kind of AP burst. So you can pick up stuff like Frozen Heart.
Exactly.
Right? It's going to have like 100 armor on it. Like Kassadin is extremely durable as well. Thresh, not a squishy support character by
not at
any
all.
means. Twitch is really the only squishy character on Microsoft's team at all.
Which is what you would expect from an AD carry. I mean, like that's
of course.
I mean, Kassadin though. I mean, it's well, it looks like we're about to start the game. Let's see if we can get the crowd involved. Is everyone excited to watch this match? All right.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I'm here.
It's a little hard
There
because we can see them, but we can't hear them. So if you guys want to see Microsoft take this away, give them a cheer. Yeah, see some
right,
stuff.
all
Okay,
right.
cool. If you guys want to see Amazon Prime take it away, can you hear it for them? Oh, I heard a woo. That's exciting.
Stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good job covering up the empty seat.
All right.
Fair enough. All right, so we're
we
gonna
should
jump.
have a fun match.
We should have a very fun match. The crowd here, I just was talking to them a little earlier.
Yeah.
They're super excited to be here. We got supporters from both of the teams. We've got supporters here from Red Bull. We've got supporters here from Riot, who are just as excited to be here. We've got After Hours Gaming League guys in general who are hanging out, working on the production of this, and also just hanging out and having a good time as well. This whole thing is for fun.
It's for charity, and it's honestly just it's not really about who wins and who loses as much as like everyone just getting together, bonding with their teammates, and having a blast. And I mean, we are the grand finals. It doesn't matter who wins or loses.
Well, I mean, we found out earlier it actually doesn't. The money's going to the same place,
Yes,
right? So
it's going to the same charity.
but there is honor and pride on the line
Yes,
here, Chris.
yes, that's true.
Like, these teams have to go back and talk. They have jobs. They have to go talk to their coworkers, and they have to explain why they won or lost.
Probably only why they lost.
Probably, yeah. They have to
You
explain
don't
why
have to
they won,
explain why you
right?
win. Like, why did you win? Well,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right. So we're gonna cut to the game pretty shortly. I assume we'll be able to watch it.
Yeah. So we'll be jumping into that shortly as they're sort of really hanging here. But we're going to see some really good stuff here. It's going to come down to team coordination.
Yep.
As you mentioned earlier, team fights are going to be super strong and impactful. It's going to come. Man, I don't know where this is going to go. Both these teams have prepped so much for this.
Right.
It was actually kind of funny. I think both the teams, as from earlier, like, hey, we're going to play that Heimerdinger mid cheese strat. And you saw sort of the meta strategy at play here, where they're talking sort of publicly about their strats and then not doing them at all,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Kind of psych them out.
They didn't want Heimerdinger banned either.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah, they were trying to.
But
bait
I've
it
also
ban.
heard some talk before the match started as well, where they're like, "Oh yeah, I think we're going to go 3 mid and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff," right? Just trying to
It'll
psych
make
out the
for-
other team.
It'll make for something pretty exciting if that happens. I actually, if there's a team that's going to do it, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being Amazon. I know that they study a lot of the Korean, the Korean streams and Korean games in the league over there, and go for a much more aggressive style, very objective oriented, trying to stack up a gold lead, using that gold advantage to turn into an item advantage, and using those items to win your team fight. It's just very methodical in the way they go after
Absolutely.
objectives.
I mean, and they are total veterans for this, right? This is the 3rd year their team has gotten to the finals. It's not just like the 3rd year they've been in the tournament, right? It's the 3rd year they've been like the best in the tournament. I know in the past they've actually run multiple teams as well, right? So like these guys know their league, they know their stuff, and they are definitely top contenders, and for good reason.
Yeah, yeah.
And Microsoft as well, though. I mean, like no slouches there. Like these guys are good. I saw someone practicing earlier.
They haven't lost yet.
They haven't
Of
lost
course,
yet.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're
But-
undefeated.
But they haven't played Amazon Prime, so we're gonna have to see how.
We're going to see how this shapes out.
Yeah, the two sort of undisputed kings of the After Hours Gaming League, Division A. This should be good.
I think we're going to have a really fun match. I mean, 2 really great companies, and you know, one of the my favorite parts about After Hours Gaming League is it really, the companies that partake in it really have it's very clear to me that they have a good handle on work-life balance, that they want to make sure that their employees bond and have the camaraderie and, you know, can play. That's why this is one of my favorite leagues out there right now. They'll bond, but then, you know, they can also use it to network and you know, a little inter-office scrimmage.
Sure, and it's at the end of the day, it's just fun, right? Like this is a scene that if you're not a professional gamer, this is sort of a setup that you don't get to experience normally.
Yeah.
Right? You don't get to, you know, show up and have an audience cheer for you when you play. You
Right.
don't get to have get to sit down on, you know, TeamSpeak and do like the full hardcore 5 players, like everyone just sort of getting ready and practicing and prepping, and sort of that anticipation and that spirit of competition that you can't normally capture on your own just as sort of as a more casual gamer. That's something that, like, just from my own experience, sort of like we have our own internal tournament at Riot.
We do.
For League of Legends, and like it's so much fun, and it's just so different, such a different experience as a player, going from like, hey, I like to play League of Legends, to like, I'm going to compete in this thing, and it is
Right.
going to be awesome.
Yeah, I agree, and there's a different mentality too when you approach it with people that you know, when you're working with your friends, when you're playing with your friends, as opposed to just kind of sitting back, hopping on solo queue, and then contesting or fighting for that bot pick or something like that, or supporter feed or anything. That's I don't ever say that, but but like that. I mean,
Definitely not.
you know, you'll come across that on solo queue, and you never come across it when the guy's in the cubicle next to you.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. Right?
Yeah,
Like, we'll
yeah.
see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's some internal trolling and stuff that ends up being pretty good. There's probably some funny stories I'm sure we could share at some point about that potentially.
So now, Brian,
yeah.
you're a champion. You have been a champion designer at Riot. That's correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't work on champions right now. I work on the game systems team.
So what does that mean?
It's sort of like the patch updates, balance work for anything that's not champions.
Okay.
So it's stuff like items, stuff like runes, masteries. I've worked on the season 2 changes, season 3 changes, season 4, the seasonal changes, right? One would say. I mean,
As the
we're
seasons
working on the
change.
season 5 changes, or
Okay.
season 2015. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
That's the official name.
The
Season
2015 season?
Yeah,
All right.
2015 season, that kind of stuff. So how about yourself? You're a producer.
Yeah, I'm a producer at Riot.
What does that entail?
It involves just trying to get out of the way and let smart people, much smarter people than me, do their job.
Interesting. That's what I usually describe my job as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, we're the people that get out of the way, and we're like, you guys are smart.
it's actually just like one dude who does like everything
Yeah,
like
yeah.
super genius level,
And we just all
everyone
try
else
and,
just
like, make-
everyone's
yeah.
like, oh, just try to step out of his way.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, it's very rewarding to be able to come in. I remember when I first joined Riot, though, you had just finished up creating a few champions you worked on. You were the lead designer on Graves, on Rumble, on
Yeah.
On Hecarim.
Yep.
That's of feral pony fame.
Sure.
Yeah, the most feral of the ponies.
I've also worked on Jace,
Yep.
as well as I did some work on Fizz. As well, in
Fizz.
the early
Fizz.
part. So
So-
I mean, some hits, some wins there. It's always funny when I talk to people. They're like, "Oh, what champions did you work on?" I'll say like I'll pick a champion. I'll say like Graves, and they're like, "Awesome, good job." And I'll be like, "What else?" I'm like, "I worked on Rumble." They're like, "I hate you." Like, bad. Like, why'd you do that? And I'm like, "Oh, but I worked on Jace." And they're like, "Oh, cool. We like that champion." I'm like, "But I worked on Fizz." And they're like, "No." And what champion people like or don't like differs all the time, right? But it's funny to see people's really strong reactions. Either they love a champion or they hate a champion, or it's like their favorite, or they don't like it. They don't like laning against that champion. It's all over the board.
Well, for you as a designer, I mean, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but was there an aspect of any one of those champions that we just named that you feel prouder of, or if you wish you could take back and maybe take another approach at it?
Oh man, I think I'm actually.
Is that a loaded question?
No, it's fine.
All right.
Like actually, the new champion stuff is fun. It's very creative. But actually, the stuff I found most rewarding personally and most interesting and exciting, sort of from a design perspective, is actually sort of the small reworks and updates. So like I worked on the Jax rework like a long time ago when we pulled dodge from the game, right?
I remember.
100% dodge chance onto Jax's Counter-Strike. I also worked on Trundle, the Trundle changes as well when he got his visual upgrade from going from sort of, I don't know, leprosy Jesus, right, to sort of the king of the ice trolls, right, like that sort of thing. And that was very rewarding. It's a very different perspective. Like when you jump into something and you have a clean slate, you can do whatever you want. It's creatively very awesome, but you have so much freedom. It's easier than working on something that's been around for a while, has established players, and you have to be much more surgical about your changes.
Right.
Like, what do I want to change? You have to be so methodical. Like, change, like, I want to change this number by 3. Why? What's it accomplishing? What do you, like, that's the kind of thing that
because we have to
really
be able to explain it not just internally to the rest of the design team, but also to our players and say, all right, look, this is what we're thinking. Here's why we're going this direction. And hopefully we didn't make it any worse. And if we did, then we'll make it back. I mean, like that's the nice thing about making iterations, treating the games as a service as opposed to, I don't know, like a box product or something like that. Keep working at it.
Yeah, it's actually it's very interesting. Like when I sort of was getting sort of game development, I was not expecting to be working on a game that had already launched. Right. Like it already launched, and I've been working on it for the last almost 4 years now. And it's still going. It's a very different, almost kind of surreal experience as sort of, I guess, more traditional game development. Which is also super awesome. But basically, you work on something kind of like in the shadows for sort of this grand unveil, and everyone's like super excited and pumped about it, and you make this awesome thing. But like you don't really have a whole lot of like interaction expectations typically, unless you have like doing a sequel or something like that, right?
Right.
But like it's a very different environment than what I was expecting.
Well, we've had, just to update our viewers out there, we've had a little bit of problems connecting to the game internally. So I'm just going to keep asking Brian here questions that he's not prepped for, and we'll see how that plays out. How long have you worked at Riot again?
Almost 4 years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Wow. How much has it changed since then?
Quite a bit.
Yeah?
I mean, when I joined, I was like employee like 100-ish, and now we're at many, many more than that. I don't remember the exact number, but it's something. It's a lot, right? We have like 10 offices now all around the world. We're sort of basically one of those like little tiny cubicle boxes sort of in the middle of Culver City, which was a very, very different experience. If you wanted to get a hold of anybody from like someone on your team, or like Mark Merrill, the president of Trinity, right? You'd just be like, "Hey, Mark," and he'd be like, "Shut up," that kind of scenario, right? Where it's like now we're different floors, different buildings. It's a lot bigger, but we're also doing like a lot more cool stuff too at the same time. So it's a very different environment.
I'd also say
cool
that
to see how it's grown.
I mean, we talked just a second ago about how we've been revising some of our champions, like with Trundle and Jax and whatnot. I'd probably say that our internal quality bar has kind of gone up with along with player expectations on what it is we want to hit, like artistically. Like we look at some of these older champions that we're doing visual reworks on, and it's kind of like, oh my God, what were we thinking? And it's at the time we were very proud of it, but we've either our bar has just been raised. Yeah. As far as.
And that's part of the fun thing. It's always continuing, always evolving. We're focusing on a couple of the technical things right now, so we're going to take a quick break for 2 to 3 minutes, and we'll be back very shortly. Thanks so much for sticking with us, guys.
All right.